Reddit where people post what's wrong with my plant with little to no context. And today we're going to be diving into multiple different houseplant subreddits. I'll be scrolling through a bunch of photos that people have posted and doing my best to diagnose them. Also looking through the responses to see if I agree or disagree with what other people have said. And in the end, I hope we all learn a little something about how to diagnose the problems we have in our plants. Let's get into it. The bangs are not banging today. So the most common subreddit where I see people ask for plant advice is called Plant Clinic. So we're gonna head over there to start with, and I think I'll just filter to new. I think that'll be fun to get the newest problem. Ooh, okay, we are starting out with a gross one. This is someone who has white spots on their lemon tree. Ooh, that is scale. That is the plant pest scale, which I think tends to be pretty common on citrus trees and fruits. It could be on any houseplant theoretically, but yeah, that's pretty bad. I will say that is scale. Leave it at that. Is that helpful? I don't know. If I wasn't filming a YouTube video, I probably would respond with more helpful things, but this is what we're getting for now. Here we go. Pothos cutting water prop. Look okay. Do you remember being a new plant parent, and maybe some of you are new? I think especially when you only have a few plants, it's really easy to think that everything is wrong with your plants. This water prop looks great. There's definitely nothing wrong with it, but I think sometimes it can just be really easy, especially when you don't have very many plants, you're very new to plants, to overthink absolutely everything. And I think that's what's going on in that scenario. Okay, let's look at this one. Please help me save my peace lily. It is looking, there are 2 leaves, so it's not looking the best. I think she's overwatered, but I have no idea. Lost leaves, stems turning brown, leaves turning brown. What do I do? I've repotted 4 times. Gets worse each time. I'm watering once a week, but I pour the water in and I'm unsure of how to water. I guess it gets adequate indirect sunlight. Okay, this one is actually maybe a bit more complicated of a scenario. They repotted it again. They repotted just now into dry soil, added the tiniest bit of water. This person says peace lilies don't like being repotted. I actually didn't know that. My peace lily needs to be repotted, and I think I potted it from the nursery pot into the pot it's currently in, and that's it. So yeah, I don't know, but they say don't move it around. I am not aware of that, but good for them. This person says they're potted too deep. Terracotta is not the best choice. I definitely agree with that. I think the hardest thing about trying to answer these questions, which I alluded to in my intro, is that there's so little context. How much light is this plant getting? What do the roots look like? Does this pot have drainage? Because that's going to affect how you want to water your plant. If your pot has drainage, I really like to take the plant to the sink and flush it all the way through. But obviously if it doesn't have drainage, you can't put a ton of water into it because there's nowhere for that water to go. We can't really answer the watering question without understanding that. But I do think the best advice that I can give is that this person should just leave it alone for a couple weeks and see what happens. I think the constant repots, I would guess, is contributing to their issues. Okay, on to the next one. That one was pretty interesting. Ooh, this one's interesting. Monstera dubia leaves getting smaller and yellow. Let's look at this one. This person says they water with tap water and use fertilizer. They use a grow light, winter temperatures, and they did a chop and extend in November, so they're 3 months in. Let's see. Wow, they have really beautiful plants. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is, I think, the mother plant. Yeah, which looks beautiful. Let's see what other people are saying. No advice, but your setup is marvelous. I can't agree with that. I think the first thing I think of is pests. But this is definitely a tough one. And Monstera dubia is definitely a much more difficult plant than something like a peace lily. They didn't say anything about pests, so I think I will ask if they've checked for pests. Based on the images, it doesn't really look like pest damage to me. It seems more likely to be some kind of watering issue or like a fertilizer issue, but this is a tough one. I actually don't know if I have a great answer for this. Let me know also, please, in the comments, leave all of your thoughts and opinions. If you agree with me, if you don't, what do you think is going on with this Monstera dubia? This is actually a tough one. I'm gonna ask. I'll say, have Have you checked for pests? This seems like a tough one to diagnose. Just being honest here. We'll see if they respond to me while I'm filming. We'll get back to it. This is funny. Is my fittonia just being moody? Fittonias are pretty moody little plants. They tend to wilt quite a bit when they are thirsty and will spring right back once they are no longer thirsty. This person says the majority of the plant is strong and standing, but one stem. I think they're referring to this kind of one that's falling over. They watered it a couple times. Okay, this really feels like a scenario. I haven't read the comments yet, but this plant overall looks really, really good. And it looks like, if I had to guess, maybe this issue has only been going on for like a couple of days. If I'm filling in some links, they didn't really say that, but it doesn't seem like an ongoing issue. If this were me in this scenario, I would give it a couple of weeks and kind of see what's going on. Plants just take a really long time most of the time to show symptoms in a way that is diagnosable. But let's look at the comments, see what people have to say. Said they do love humidity, and they receive misting and pebble trays. I don't think that it's a humidity issue if I had to guess. This person says it could be overwatering, which it definitely could be. I could see that being the issue. I don't think that it's a direct sunlight thing. I don't see anything in the leaves that imply that. Too little light could weaken them, leading to limp stems. That could be an issue. The pot does have a drainage hole, so that's good to know. I think that it says that it's in an eastern window, which I would guess is a totally fine window for them. I haven't had a fittonia in a while. I did kill mine. Underwatering, it dried out. They definitely, in my experience, are a plant that like a lot of water. I think I'll say my best guess is overwatering, but honestly, it looks really good. Maybe just give it like a week or two. I also really strongly believe that, especially, I think a lot of the people that end up on this kind of subreddit are new plant parents, and I just think you have to kill a lot of plants before you really understand how to take care of them. I think it's totally normal to kill plants, but here's a fun one. Thrips. Is it thrips? I have had thrips. I would not consider myself a thrips expert, but I have done a ton of research on thrips, so I think that these are really fun ones to answer. I feel like I do a pretty good job diagnosing thrips and understanding what the damage looks like, but let's take a look. This person says the thrips tend to eat new and developing roots. They definitely do not eat roots at all whatsoever. Based on the research I've done, they really aren't in the soil of your plant at all, other than like the different early stages of the thrip would be in the soil, but the adults and larvae would be on the actual leaf of your plant, eating it there. But let's see. The roots make it seem to just die off after rooting. These little black dots started to appear all over. It says soil is well draining, light is sufficient, watering is super infrequent, once every couple weeks to once a month or more. I think they should water it more. I will give that advice number one. Yep, this person says not thrips. And they said that they're worried about their other plants, and exactly what I'm thinking. I feel like I need to see pictures of other plants. It's the no context on Reddit that just makes it so hard. But let's zoom in on these photos. Oh yeah, what? These are just purple. This is just what this plant looks like. I don't have this plant. I have a yellow one. I wonder if they look like this. It's actually just behind me. I don't know. Okay, this one doesn't have those dots, but this is actually just a different plant, obviously entirely. But yeah, that is so funny. No, those are definitely not thrips. This is another scenario of plant parents worrying too much. I am going to respond and say those dots look purple. Definitely not thrips. Looks like part of the plant. I feel like I'm on those interviews on YouTube where they have a celebrity answer the most common questions about them what is it? It's like when they're on Twitter or Reddit and they're answering the most common questions and they respond. That's how I feel right now. But it looks like I did get a response. Oh, I just got a thanks. How nice. To my most frank response that I gave to any of the responses. I feel like my other ones have been helpful. Okay, I guess I backed out. So now we are in the hot section of the subreddit. Here's a money tree. This one just says, help. Let's look at the pictures. Looks perfectly healthy, but let's see what they're asking for help with. It says, please diagnose the problem here. I got this money tree about a month ago and I've watered it once a week or once the dirt is dry. All of a sudden they've started turning yellow. They're worried it's overwatering, underwatering, or bleached by the sun. My thought process is that that is a healthy plant. Some yellowing leaves is very normal with plants. I would say, like, especially when they're at the bottom, this leaf looks like it could be a little yellow and it's at the top, so that is a little weird, but then you back out here and it looks totally normal. So we'll see what other people say. Let's see. Oh, this is totally true. This person says several store-bought money trees are bound at the roots, causing it to essentially be strangled as it grows and then dying. This is absolutely true. I used to have a money tree, and this definitely was the case where it was rubber banded at the very bottom, and if you don't cut that rubber band, it basically suffocates the plant. The roots can't grow. It's kind of like a scenario where if you put a really tight rubber band around a tree outside, it's gonna stifle the amount that the tree can grow outwards. The same concept. So definitely, if you have this issue with money tree, or really if you buy a money tree from any store ever, I would say big box store, but a lot of times even a boutique plant shop could be buying from the same growers that a big box store is buying from. Definitely check the roots with a money tree. That is great advice from this person. This person says that they really don't like the cold, and yeah, it is next to a patio door. So this definitely, my plant room in my house in Iowa was our sunroom, which was also the back door where we were letting our dogs out all the time, and it gets very, very cold in Iowa, and so definitely something I considered doing in the winter months and did do was to move a lot of my plants away from my back door so they didn't get super, super cold. So I definitely do think that that is something to consider. This person is saying that they should check the leaves for pests. I really don't think this is a pest issue based on what they shared. I think I'm going to say that honestly this plant looks really good. Yellow leaves are normal, but it definitely is a good idea to check for a rubber band around the roots, as that's very common with these. Oh, this is a bad one. This is a really bad one. I think I know what the comments are gonna say. I think they're gonna get this right. This is definitely mealybugs. I actually don't know what the plant is. Oh, this is a bad mealybug. Oh, those look so gross. I don't know what this plant is. Let me know if you know what it is. Maybe it says somewhere. Just says, please diagnose my plant. Does anyone know what the white colored infestation is? It's an areca palm. Interesting. At least they know it's an infestation. I probably won't even respond. Yeah, people know what it is. Mealybugs, honestly, just toss it. I've had mealybugs on 2 plants. One of them I did end up just tossing because it was a variegated Hoya compacta, and Hoya compacta just have so many nooks and crannies. It was not worth it to try to eradicate them. But I also had them on my variegated fiddle leaf fig, and I did end up killing them, and it ended up being totally fine in that scenario. I don't even think I repotted it. I think I just ended up taking a Q-tip and rubbing alcohol and individually killing each one that I saw until they were gone. And thankfully that really worked out. I think that's not always the result of getting mealybugs. I really hope I don't get them again. But yeah, in that scenario, that's bad, and I don't even need to respond. Okay, here's a monstera one. I'm really curious. Monstera tend to attract thrips, and so when people have issues with monstera, I tend to want to look for thrips. I don't think that you should jump to that conclusion, but I'm definitely curious. Ooh, oh, those look like thrips to me. Yeah, the white, I don't know, this is like a really weird, this looks a little weird, so I'll keep looking, but generally, so thrips are black, but the larvae are white, and yeah, this looks like thrips to me. This damage is kind of weird looking, I will say. Oh man, but I think that's definitely it. Thrips feed on the cells of your plant leaves, and so that's why they end up damaging the leaves. It's the same thing with spider mites. They also feed on your plant's leaves, which is why they can end up looking badly. I also have 2 really in-depth videos on thrips and spider mites. If you haven't seen those, I will link them down below. But yeah, this person is saying it's definitely thrips. I'm gonna also say that they're thrips just to add like another voice here. But yeah, definitely thrips. Looks like I maybe got a couple other responses. This person said, forgive me for the dumb question, but I've never had pests in a year of owning plants. How would I check? I can't see anything moving about on the leaves. Okay, this person has really cool plants for never having pests. Like, what? I'm gonna say that because this is crazy. I'll say if you post a few close-ups of the leaves, I can take a look. I'd say like the 3 common plant pests are probably mealybugs, spider mites, and thrips. So I'll let this person know about those 3. And maybe I'll say for spider mites, you want to look for little webs. Mealybugs look like little fuzzy cotton balls, and thrips are really small, black or white, almost rice-shaped bugs, I guess I would say, but much smaller. Technically, we're not supposed to self-promo on this channel, but I am gonna link my spider mite video. Okay, that could get deleted, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if this could be a spider mite issue, but I don't know. It's really hard to tell. Like, this looks like a really healthy plant for the most part, so it is weird. Maybe it's just not getting as much light at the top. Is that it? Taking a second look. I'm gonna respond that as well. Okay, this is fun. We're getting a little back and forth. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if they respond. Yeah, it does kind of just look like the leaves on the top, the grow light just hits kind of mid-range around the plants in the middle. And yeah, up top is just a bit in shadow. So that seems like it could really be the issue. Oh my gosh. But they are gonna send me photos. Wow, we're getting in depth here. I didn't expect to be like communicating with people specifically about their plants, but you know what? I'm happy to help. Oh, okay, this is an interesting one. I actually don't know if I know the answer to this question because I have a philodendron white knight that is looking exactly like this. And to me, this looks like pest damage. But my white knight, I guess that's a different plant, but my white knight, and this one doesn't look, I don't see any pests either. So I actually am really curious to read the comments on this one. Let me show you also this plant. Yeah, here it is. Look at this leaf. It kind of has the exact same issue going on. I really don't know why. I also don't love that plant, so I'm kind of on the fence about keeping it because it's bothering me that it looks like that. Okay, so the first one apparently is sunburn. Interesting. I don't know. Mine is under a grow light, but maybe it just was shock from being moved to the grow light. I can't remember if I had it in my sunroom, but I think it's just been under the grow light. I wouldn't expect it to get sunburned from it's not even a very strong grow light. So I really don't know. Let me know if you know what that is, if you have any thoughts on what this damage could be. Really not sure. This one I do know the answer to. This is a pilea peperomiodes, and this is a common question that gets asked with this plant specifically, and it's what are these white spots on my plant? Oh, actually, that's different than I thought. So I was thinking that they were referring to, I guess they're kind of darker spots, but these little spots in the background, and on the back of the plant, I think it can kind of show up as white. And in that scenario, it's super normal for this plant to have those. No, I don't really know what white spots they're referring to. Okay, but yeah, so this just pours in some mineral deposit on them. Normal stuff. Don't know about second photo though. Yeah, that's about where I'm at with this. Like little white dots on your pilea peperomiodes, super normal. Mineral deposits, nothing really to worry about. But yeah, this looks like maybe just it was recently watered and this will probably go away, but I'm really not sure. That's my best guess. I definitely have had this happen where right after watering my plants, they kind of turn a different color for a very short period of time. So that's my best guess, but not quite sure on that one. Okay, so this person with the monstera dubia sent me some more photos of their plant. Let's take a look. Yeah, I'm really not seeing any pests. This person has really healthy plants. Where we would want to look for spider mites is right here. Oh, I can't remember the name. Is the stoma? No, I can't remember the name of where the 2 leaves meet. It's a big thing in anthurium because sometimes they don't have it. Let me know if you remember what that's called. I can't remember. Their plants are so healthy. I don't see anything. That's what I'm gonna tell them. All right, we'll see if they respond. But yeah, I don't think that one's pests. All right, let's try our houseplants next, see what we can find there. We're going to see in this scenario just a lot of people showing their favorite plants and things like that, but here's one. What to do with this hedgehog aloe? I guess there's 2 of them, it looks like. Maybe, I think they're showing maybe what it looked like before versus what it looks like now. Let's see what they had to say. Said, I've had this plant for 4 years. It's gotten pretty tall and too heavy. I've gotten some pups off of it, not sure what to do. Any advice? I'm thinking of giving it away and starting over with one of the pups. I don't want to repot into something bigger. Okay, let's see. I guess a lot of this is just personal choice, Personally, I think it looks really cool. It looks like a tree. I love that. Yeah, and that's the first top comment is that they love that it looks like a tree. I love this, worship. I didn't know I needed this plant, so cool. OMG, that's so cool. Yeah, I think that they should really just keep it. And other people have said that for me, so I'm not gonna comment that, but wow, what a cool looking plant. This video was inspired by Caroline Winkler. If you're not watching her, she's one of my favorite YouTubers. She does a lot of interior design videos, but also kind of mental health, dealing with life kind of videos. And she did a video that was interior advice for the anonymous men of Reddit. And it's so funny, so good. This video does not compare in any way, but that's what inspired this video. So I just wanted to share. That's where I got the idea from. Okay, this is an easy scenario. This is kind of a plant ID problem. This person is saying it's a neon pothos, however, I have heart-shaped leaves. And this has 11 comments. I'm sure that people have already responded and they're probably right. This is a lemon lime philodendron. It is not a neon pothos, but they are very similar plants. And there are a number of differences. I was gonna say, the difference is this one's a philodendron and the other one's a pothos, which is true. Also, just the shapes of the leaves are different. That this is a heartleaf, lemon lime heartleaf philodendron for a reason. The leaves are shaped like hearts. And yeah, that is what people are saying. Other people want one, which is fun. Okay, here we have another what to do with this plant problem. This is a tradescantia nanook. Is that what they're called? This was the same plant with the little purple spots that we saw earlier. Again, I've never had one of these, but they are just saying they don't know what to do with it. They said they like it, but he's growing weird. Now he's looking lanky and weird. I tried to add some sticks to support him, but I don't know. Do I chop off the tips and restart? So looking at this plant, what I would do is to chop and prop and plant it back into the plant so that it could end up looking more full like this plant is. And I think tradescantia look really, really cool sitting on the top of something. Like this one sits on top of my IKEA greenhouse right now. And the nice thing is, I think this did have a lot of different cuttings in it. But yeah, that's what I would do in this scenario, and then just let it trail. Based on their photos, it seems like maybe they don't know that this is a trailing plant, the way they tried to stake it up, which case maybe it's just not a great plant for them. But yeah, let's see what the comments say. It says they propagate really easily. Yep, I think they're saying to prop it and pop back in. And prop. So we're all on the same page, I guess. Oh, here we have a question 1 minute ago. Why does my plant have holes? Okay, I've seen this happen with philodendron before, and it could be, okay, is this just common, this weird yellowing? This is a different question. Like obviously there's the little dots, but there's also this weird like yellowing happening. What is that? I'm so confused by that. But the little dots, in my experience, I think it's fungal leaf spot and is a fungus related issue. But I had this happen with a philodendron Birkin that I had years ago, and it was so hard for it to go away. And really, like, you're never gonna fix this leaf. You can only stop it from appearing on future leaves. And I ended up just giving it away because it was so ugly. But I think this is fungal leaf spot. I'm not 100% sure on this one though. So I'll just say I think it's a fungus related issue, and I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, let me know if you've had those little dots on your leaves, because they are very annoying. We have a question. Did I set up my anthurium to fail? Let's see. They got it when it had flowers. They split it, and one is looking wilted. One has yellow spots. They're terrified of root rot, which I think is such a big, scary thing when you're first getting into plants. When I first got into plants, the two scary things that were like just the most terrible, like whispered about horrific things were root rot and thrips. And in my experience, thrips are bad, but you can eradicate them, and root rot is just not that common and not that big of a problem. I tend to be an underwaterer, so maybe that's coming from that experience, but there's also dry rot. And I just think plants are resilient. They want to keep growing. In most scenarios, you probably are going to figure out what's wrong with them and it's gonna be fine. But I just remember being new and it just seemed so scary because I didn't really know enough about it. But let's see. They say that the water drains fast from the drainage holes compared to their other plants. That's probably a good thing. Although this soil looks like it's almost entirely orchid bark, which that might be a little too chunky. I'll keep reading and then we'll look through the others. It said too much orchid bark, not enough actual soil. How can I fix this before it gets worse? That does look like an insane amount of orchid bark. I've never seen this. Okay, this one maybe looks a little better. Overall, this plant looks pretty healthy. You know, there's a little yellowing there, but the leaves are huge. Actually, it's a really cool looking anthurium. Let's see. This person said they have them under grow lights. Room doesn't get the best natural light from the window. I think I'm gonna say it does look like a lot of orchid bark and not enough soil, but people grow anthurium in super chunky mixes all the time, so maybe it could be worth experimenting. I don't know. I think half the fun of having plants is experimenting, so I'll suggest it. This person says gifted snake plant with sad roots. Oh my gosh, it's so tall though. That was a much bigger plant than I was guessing based on this root system. They said they removed it from the soil and this is what the roots look like and the tips are dry. I would throw this in some water and get some bigger roots. Let's see. This person says stick it in soil, which I think you definitely can do with snake plants. I'd put it in water. That's my suggestion, but I'm a big water propagator, so it makes sense that would be what I would want to do. This is kind of a funny post to me, and this is sort of what I'm getting at. Hopefully they have more context. Okay, they do. I thought it was just my plants. Any advice? Which would be very funny. Let's see. Wow, this is too big of a post. Also, every single plant looks great. They said, I think the money tree used to have mealy bugs, so yeah, that one doesn't look the best. But maybe the ZZ plant looks a little weird. Had mealy bugs and is doing better. Yeah, the majority, what the heck is this? Cactus? Okay, the cactus is a problem. I don't know enough about cactus, but I jumped to too much water and it's rotting. I think in this scenario, I would take a look at the cactus's roots. Yeah, if the roots are fine, you could just repot it straight up and down, but I think I'd be a little concerned about it being something worse. Ooh, this looks so bad. Let's have this be our last one. This is a monstera constellation, and it is looking worse for wear. This is where, if a plant looks like this, I would get worried about it surviving, and this, they asked if it was a cold damage issue, and this absolutely looks like it could be a cold damage issue, or it could be like a watering issue, but cold damage could definitely be it. If they like bought it and it was freezing cold outside and they just took it from the store to their car without it being covered in anything, that could cause it. If it was shipped and didn't have like a heat pack or something like that, I think I'll just say that this definitely could be cold damage. Do they have reason to believe that it's been in the cold? Because it's clearly in your house right now. So there you have it. There is my best plant advice for the anonymous people of Reddit on these subreddits. I had a lot of fun. I didn't expect to go back and forth with someone in messages and see more photos of their plant, but I'm glad that I was able to help at least a few people out. Hopefully you all could learn from this scenario as well. Let me know if you like this video in the comments, as this is something I could definitely do in the future. And one other thing, I've been digging into my YouTube analytics recently, and I've noticed that the majority of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you like my videos, please take a moment, just check and see if you're subscribed and click the subscribe button. Little things like commenting, liking, and subscribing to my channel are really, really helpful in pushing my video out to other people like you that enjoy my videos, and it really, really helps me out. So I appreciate it so much, and I really feel like we're creating a really awesome community here in the comments of my YouTube videos. So thank you so much for sticking around, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!